Men jailed over false racial abuse claims. A sales rep was jailed for 12 months today for playing the race card by falsely claiming a traffic warden had racially abused him and attacked him to avoid paying for a parking ticket. Ben Hall was also convicted of making another false allegation of racial abuse against a consultant doctor after he confronted the defendant for parking in a disabled bay outside a hospital. Hall, from Fareham, Hampshire, was found guilty of 2 charges of perverting the course of public justice and was sentenced to 12 months imprisonment for both offenses to run concurrently. His strange wife, Diane Bateman, 52, from Gosport, was found guilty of 1 offense of perverting the course of justice after the jury found her guilty by providing a statement in support of Hall. Bateman, a caterer for an old people's home, was given a 6-month prison sentence suspended for 12 months, 100 hours community service in order to pay £500 in cost. Sentencing Hall at Portsmouth Crown Court Judge Roger Hetherington said, "This was a concerted and determined tactic employed by you on 2 separate occasions and pursued to the bitter end to make a deliberately false allegation against 2 wholly innocent men. Your motivation was partly self-interest to get yourself out of a situation where you were clearly wrong, and partly in anger that anyone should have the temerity to challenge you. You have deliberately played the race card, knowing it would cause maximum embarrassment to those on the receiving end and would be treated seriously by the authorities. The seriousness of these offenses lies not just in the distress and anxiety felt by the victims, but also in the fact that it strikes at the root of public justice and undermines people's confidence in the system." He added that Bateman, the wife, had acted out of misguided loyalty to her ex-husband. Okay? The trial heard that the incident which happened with Hall is that he was parked on double yellow lines outside a supermarket in Fareham when he was approached by Andrew Lynch, a civic enforcement officer from the local council. Mr. Lynch warned the 45-year-old who was sitting in the gray Volvo car that he was parked illegally and would issue him with a parking ticket if he did not move on. By the time he returned to the vehicle, Hall, who is originally from Tunisia, had claimed to another officer that he had been racially abused and assaulted by Mr. Lynch. Mr. Lynch was later arrested and interrogated by police for 3 hours about the alleged incident and suspended from his job at Fareham Borough Council while the case was investigated. Mr. Lynch was the policeman or the civic officer who gave the ticket or warned the guy to move on because he was illegally parked. So this is the consequence to this civic officer who was doing his job. He was only allowed back to work more than 5 weeks later after the police decided there was no case to answer. Louisa Bagley, prosecuting, said, "Mr. Lynch was an innocent man, albeit a traffic warden, and you may have your own views about those who issue parking tickets. Mr. Hall wanted to get around having to pay for that penalty ticket and hence made this allegation in order to avoid paying for that ticket." Mr. Lynch told the court during the trial, "I went up to the vehicle and said to the driver that he needed to move. He said that I had grabbed him around the face and had hit him against his headrest. I said, no, I haven't. I stepped back and went to issue a penalty charge notice." Mr. Lynch added, "I was suspended from patrolling, from doing my job. I thought I was going to lose my job." The second charge against Hall, a father of 3, involved in making another false allegation that a consultant doctor had also racially abused him outside a hospital. The court heard that Dr. Neil Buchanan had approached Hall when he had parked in a disabled bay without a blue badge outside the Royal Hampshire Court Hospital in Winchester. Hall went on to falsely accuse Dr. Buchanan of racially assaulting him, leading to him also being arrested and questioned by police. So he's had 2 people arrested and questioned by police with his false accusations. Inspector Dean Galwart of Hampshire Police said that after the hearing, what Mr. Hall did was despicable, and I hope he will reflect on the damage he did and the upset he had caused Mr. Lynch and Dr. Buchanan. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you? I want to start by thanking you. I got 50,000 subscribers. We have 50,000 people subscribed to the channel. I don't even know what, I'm not going to start crying. Yes, I'm made up because I have an appointment. I'm trying to get donors for the school and the clinic because everybody's left. And not only that, the current government, they're shutting down NGOs like crazy. So all these amazing NGOs like Operation Smile and everything, they've been shut down. And so they used to help us, but now they're gone. So it's harder and harder to get donors. So your donations are always greatly appreciated. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, listening to this crazy 54-year-old woman with a weird accent. Thank you very much, guys. It's greatly appreciated. Your super thanks. Everything has been amazing. I can't believe there's 50,000 people who want to watch what I say. Thank you. Now, before I get started, I want to thank Teffy Sheep. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. She's an amazing subscriber of mine, and she left a lengthy comment about a video I did about saying shame on Prince Harry on Prince William for doing what he did about condemning his own godmother. I stand by it. I am, please don't go hating on her or anything. She's an amazing subscriber and she gave her opinion in a thoughtful manner. It's just that we disagree. This is a platform that I hope we can all agree, and we can all agree to disagree. We can make fun of it. That's the whole point, that we're not woke idiots. And when I refer to being woke idiots, I got a comment from somebody saying, oh, woke people, why do you have it against woke people? I think we all know what I'm referring when I say woke idiots, right? Now, I want to, for me, it's deeply offending. For me, it makes me really angry when people like Marlene Headley, also known as Ngozi Fulani, like when she says in the video that I'm about to show you that she dresses the part to get an advantage or to get ahead or to make people uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable because in this climate, everybody's so terrified of asking anything or calling anybody out if you're a darker skin. And it shouldn't be that way. If you're a jerk, if you're stupid, if you're an idiot, if you're a criminal, that, criminality, stupidity, and idiocy, it's colorblind, okay? And racism itself is colorblind because people of all races can be racist. So please watch this video. I posted it on my shorts, but some of you haven't seen it. But this is Ngozi Fulani, actually Marlene Headley, explaining to people how she dresses the part to get an advantage, okay?
I have to look a particular way. I have to profile a particular way. So, I sometimes find that I have to wear clothes that I usually wouldn't wear, okay? So I've come in the room in a way that I expect mainstream society to expect me to look, okay? So what I'm going to do with your permission is to transition back to what I want to wear. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Right. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. All right? It simply means that if I go to an interview, if I go to represent someone in court, if I do this, if I do that, I have to look a particular way all the time. Okay? So I'm not going to go the whole way. I'm just going to make myself look a bit more, or feel a bit more comfortable. So I have my things that I wear to make myself comfortable. Okay? I'm from a particular community. Would you guess what community myself and Roseanne belong to? Perhaps. Is that question strange to you slightly? Okay, what do you see when you see me? Is anything?
Now, for me, that is deeply offensive. What you're going to watch right now, I'm going to post this little video. This is outside of a place that's a home where people think I live. And this is a car that somebody left parked outside containing certain things, explosives and a bunch of fireworks, like heavy fireworks. That heavy fireworks are, that cars have gas tanks, right? There were messages in there saying, you stupid hag, and blah, blah, blah. Pretty much this is still from my ex-husband or his current wife, who's also Nicaraguan. I can't unfortunately say that's the case, but pretty much given the fact that I've had 3 attempts to my life and they all lead back to them, it's a very safe bet that it was them who did this. The police had to be called and they ended up towing the car away. And of course, there's nothing they can do because they don't know who left that car in the middle of the road right in front of the house. Okay, so you tell me. Now, when we're talking abuse, violent or verbal, it's really horrible when people like Marlene Headley, Meghan Markle use it. First, because Meghan Markle has never been racially abused. She just didn't have any talent. She can't keep blaming that she raised for the fact that she has no talent or that she wasn't cast, not even in D-list reality shows. That simply is because she was not talented nor interesting enough. Marlene Headley, I don't think this woman has, I don't know if she has or hasn't, but clearly she has known how to use the race card to her advantage. And yes, there is a reason why that term race card exists, okay? But to me, it is very offensive when she said that she felt violated or was a violent act, that she was, that an elderly 83-year-old woman gently removed the hair from the name tag to read her name, probably because she was hard of hearing and she couldn't understand the name. So she probably figured, if I maybe read it, I'll be able to pronounce it correctly, because she was trying to be kind and say her name properly. Okay, but let me show you what violence looks like. And I have worse pictures that I don't want to show because but I have them. But I'm going to just show you a couple of pictures of what it means when there's violence against you. Now, Tiffy Sheep, I understand that you say that the royal family is playing the long game and that the royal family has been around for 1,000 years. People, I keep hearing that a lot. But everything comes to an end. Many times things come to an end. And let me tell you something. People say, oh, Wallace, what's her name? Wallace Simpson was it? No, I feel like saying, is it Wallace Simpson, the lady that married the Duke of Windsor? Well, the reason why we don't see much is because it's many years ago, clearly, and there was no internet, but they did do a lot of damage. Had justice been allowed to, had he been successful, he would have had King George, Queen Elizabeth II father, basically removed from power, so he would have been put in power because he joined an alliance with Hitler and he was providing information. And this has been proven. It's in the archives of his close affiliation to Hitler, and that he was providing information, and that the Wallis lady was also in cahoots with the Germans. His plan was to go back to the United Kingdom and be the king. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is basically in the archives that the royal family buried and the parliament buried for many years. In reality, the Duke of Windsor should have been tried for treason and hung, because at that time people for treason were hung. Not anymore, clearly. But people say, oh, they didn't do so much damage, they behaved with dignity. That's not true. They engaged in a huge publicity thing. They were doing what Harry and Meghan Markle are doing. It's just that there was no internet, no social media that you could readily see things, because There were, before you had to ship a transatlantic telegram, it was harder. Now everything is an instant of a click. Before I proceed with this is also very important for you to know that when Meghan Markle claims that, what you're about to see is Liz Garbus's idea. No. In their contract with Netflix, they had final say of what goes out. They have final say of what goes out. So keep this in mind, because they're trying to hide behind, this is not us doing it. Yes, they had one of the clauses was that they had to be shown everything that was to be approved. It is their own production company, it's not Netflix. It's Archwell Production who is producing this, and of course Netflix is distributing it. And Meghan Markle and Harry have the final say on what goes out. So her excuse that, this is not me, that's absolutely BS. Okay, they have final edit. They have final edit rights. It's Archwell Production producing this in conjunction with Netflix. And we know that Meghan Markle is a control freak. Just like she says, I feel cleansed by this podcast, because she thinks she scored she even scored with that podcast. And all what she did is made herself look ridiculous. She think they're doing the same thing with this now. And they're just like Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey should have been sued by the newspapers. Oprah Winfrey should have been sued by the newspaper guys, because she manipulated the headlines and photoshopped them to look as though they were racist in nature when they were not. Meghan Markle and Harry are using a lot of Princess Diana, because in her mind, Meghan Markle thinks she's Princess Diana. And also because there's really no footage of her being chased anywhere, unlike the Duchess unlike Catherine, the Princess of. This is why they had to use pictures of her of Katie Price, of all things. Katie Price, for my U.S. listeners, is an ultra D-lister celebrity who, she really is the bottom of the bottom. And even Katie Price is more followed than Meghan Markle. This is why they use footage of her walking into court, and you see the paps following her. They used photos of, or images of, the Harry Potter premiere in the United Kingdom. They use footage of Trump as well. I think there was some footage of Trump or something that they said that he's been followed. That's because nobody did. The only time that they were before the paps or the press was when they did the royal tours. Other than that, they went about perfectly fine. And even this picture you're about to see from Meghan Markle, it was taken by one of her friends. Harry and Meghan. Harry says he moved to the UK, from the UK to protect his family, right? From what? They led a perfectly private life. They were able to fly everywhere private until they got caught. They were able to vacation everywhere they wanted. They were able to go everywhere in London. Meghan Markle went and had dinner with her friends and stuff like that. The only time we found out about things is because Meghan Markle leaked them. And because she also calls backgrid to do all the things that they were doing. Now, Harry looks back and says, oh my God, how did we end up here? That's called poor choices. You chose poorly. And one very good point that I want to make in this video is that if, as he says at the beginning of this particular snippet that I'm going to show you, if what he says is that they were all loved and they were loved, everything was going great, and suddenly everything changed, that means that Meghan Markle was accepted by the royal family, the United Kingdom. Because had she been disliked or had there been any racial issue, she would have never been loved nor liked. So if things changed, it's because they found out who she was after they got to know her. It had nothing to do with race. So the issues that they had with the royal family were not racially motivated. It was her character. This is just by what he says. We were loved. Everything was going great. What on earth happened? What on earth happened? Meghan Markle was found out, and you, Harry, you were found out because you were colluding with her. You were lying to the royal family, and the royal family knew that this was a ticking time bomb that they could no longer protect once it got out, and it would look bad on them. The problem is that they only did the job halfway. They should have finished it. And on March, when you didn't come back to the United Kingdom, there should have been a proper statement wishing you well, removing you from the royal website, and removing Harry's titles to make him a private citizen, wishing him well, granting him his wish. That bit is what has caused all this issue, because it has been allowed to linger. Had the royal family handled it properly, we wouldn't be in this situation. And this is why I want to say to all my subscribers, like to Teffy Sheep, if they say, oh, the royal family has done, no, had they done it properly, had they conducted things properly, correctly, we wouldn't be in this mess. They wouldn't be in this mess. And by the way, many people keep saying, oh, why are you talking about our royal family? It is mine too, because I am Canadian, and the monarch of the United Kingdom is our head of state. We are part of the Commonwealth. The king's money or the monarch's money is in the Canadian currency. So they are our royal family as well. So you tell me what you think of this little bit that I'm going to show you. Was it racially motivated? Clearly not. Harry is admitting that they were loved, they were welcomed, they were appreciated, and then things changed.
A royal rock star.
And then everything changed.
Prince William, I have every right. I love my son. I love my friends. And my friends love me, and my family love me. And when I do something wrong, they call me out. When my kid does something wrong, I call him out. When my friends do something wrong, I call them out. That doesn't mean that I don't love him nor respect him. It means that how are we going to know that we're on the wrong path if nobody points it out to us? You know? So I love Prince William. I love him. I think he's amazing. But he should learn to he should learn to do the right thing, not to be seen to do the right thing. People say, oh, somebody else issued that statement on his behalf, but he authorized it. And he hasn't issued an apology as well. And this is where the problem lies. They're very quick to jump and say things, but they're never quick to apologize and take it back, which is the part that is what's bothering me. Because what happened to Lady Hussey is elder abuse. Now, the reason why I'm saying that it was not up to Palace to investigate or invite this woman, that it is a police matter, it's because it is a criminal offense when somebody falsely uses their race card to get an advantage. Now, I apologize for this video being a bit too long, but I wanted to read this because this is at the heart of everything that's been going on right now. All these false accusations and these people facing no legal consequences. Meghan Markle made some racial accusations that have not been investigated, that have caused the monarchy and people in the monarchy to suffer anxiety. They have had repercussions in the monarchy and the United Kingdom as a whole, because the monarchy represents us, represents the the monarchy is our head of state in Canada, and it's the head of state in the United Kingdom and many Commonwealth nations. And Meghan Markle's allegations have gone uninvestigated and with no consequences whatsoever, to the point that she's getting today an award for her falsely uninvestigated, unaccounted claims of racial abuse. Okay? So when people say why it's important to hold people accountable, why Meghan Markle keeps doing this, when lovely people like Teffy Sheep said, oh, the royal family knows what they're doing. No, they don't. They don't. Because if they did, we wouldn't have this. Meghan Markle and Harry wouldn't feel entitled to use, to lie and use other footage of other things to put them in their documentary in order to mislead people. When they say, oh, there was paparazzi intrusion, they show that shot of a photographer taking a picture of him walking in Mr. Tutu's residence. And now we know this Jobson gentleman. Oh, by the way, he is the guy who said that whenever he went to Kensington Palace, Prince Charles would pull staff would pull him aside and tell him that Princess Diana was crazy, not to listen to what she had to say. That's the same guy, by the way. But Mr. Jobson said that Meghan Markle and Harry authorized those shots to be taken from that distance because that's what they wanted, which shows that they were being deliberate about this and they were planning on using that and twisting it around. Okay? So there is premeditation on their actions. And still, they have not been investigated. If the royal family, if the United Kingdom were doing the correct thing, they would have dismissed Harry's lawsuit, frivolous lawsuits that cost the taxpayers in the United Kingdom a lot of money, in his absolutely unending bid to have the UK people continue paying for his lifestyle. They would have said, no, this is a frivolous lawsuit. We're not going to have that. We're not going to put the taxpayers through this. You knew what you were leaving, you were told about it, and you signed off on it. That's done. They haven't done that. They have allowed him to continue. They shouldn't have allowed him to lease Frogmore Cottage just for him to claim that he's living there. They would have been removed from the royal website. Instead, Harry's there, and it says that he's continued to uphold the values of the king. And that his official residence is Frogmore, and that he shares his time between the United States and the UK. Many of you justify that by saying that, oh, but you know, they haven't updated the website. Yes, they have. They have. Go read the information. They have updated it. Okay? So all this mess is terrible. Meghan Markle and Harry should be investigated. Now we have a $10 million donation from Silicon Valley. To me, that's a way for them of getting paid through Netflix because the timing is not good. The timing is not good. They don't want to pay taxes. Meghan Markle keeps talking about all these programs that she champions while registered in Delaware, which is a tax haven, a tax evasion haven. For all these government programs to exist, they all come from your taxpayers' money. And the wealthiest people are the ones who have to pay the most taxes. And Meghan Markle is evading paying, doing her civic duty and paying her taxes. To me, and this is just my opinion on this one, the $10 million donation is actually the real payment to them from Netflix and everything else. And it's done as a donation in order for them not to pay any taxes. And I really do believe it's time for the IRS to get involved. If they could bring Al Capone down, I'm pretty sure they can bring down the likes of Meghan Markle and Harry. But anyways, now, this is the reason why I read you that long article is because Prince Charles said, oh, we're going to investigate this in-house, or these allegations have not been investigated. One thing is for them, if the family's having a rift and Meghan Markle is calling Catherine a skank or whatever you want to call it, that's a family matter. But when there is a racial accusation or a racial abuse accusation, that is not done in public against a royal family or the monarchy. That is no longer a family issue. That is a government issue. That is a police matter. And it's a police matter to be investigated. In the United Kingdom. Now, but King Charles, let me tell you something. The law is issued in the name of the monarch. It doesn't mean that the monarch is the law. Even the monarch has to obey and cannot interrupt the course of law. So why does that mean that why haven't Harry and Meghan Markle been investigated? The correct response also to Ngozi or to Marlene Headley's claims was not to force, and many people have come out to the defense and, no, well, nobody asked her to quit. When you have the King of England and the future King of England issue horrible, hard statements against you, if you have any dignity, you quit. You're not Meghan Markle. Clearly, Meghan Markle doesn't care. Or Harry. Instead, they feel entitled, and Meghan Markle would claim racism. So, but they don't do that, do they? Ngozi Fulani should not be invited to Palace. This matter should be handed over to the police for a full police investigation and for the police to investigate her claims and interrogate both and question Ngozi Fulani and Lady Susan Hussey. And also there's plenty of footage around in that event that can be used to corroborate what they're saying. And then we would have a different outcome. Now, I'm going to leave you with this question. Whenever in royal circles when there's a trip abroad or something like that by any royals, if there's a tour or an event, there's usually no activities in order not to overshadow that event. Why was Camilla having her first major event on the very same day that Prince William started his event, his major event in Boston? Why? Please answer this. And what do you guys think of all of this? Just like the cash for honors is not a matter for King Charles to investigate, because remember when he said, oh, we're going to investigate this in-house? No. That was also not a matter for the palace to investigate. That's a matter for the police. And we haven't heard anything about it. So Ngozi Fulani should not be invited to Palace. She should be investigated by the police, because falsely accusing somebody of racial abuse or violence is a criminal offense. Let me know what your thoughts are.